Alright guys, welcome to another design review. Um Today we'll be taking a look at this branding I did for a friend of mine, Urban Jazzscape. Alright, so um yep. So like I will always say, these layers are not arranged the way I actually started the design or ended the design. It's just arrangement of what my layers and the placements look like. Right, so I'll be turning them off, then explaining it the way I feel you should understand. So, right, so get to turn them off, turn them off, turn them off, turn them off, turn them off. So start with a blank slate. Right, so we have the color fill. All right, which is the first thing. So this is actually part of the color code he actually used for his gig. So he said he wanted something bluish, all of that. So I felt this hue of blue would do. Alright, then I have a door. I downloaded this door off I think Pixels or on Splash, one of the two. Alright, so I have that door there. So I changed the blending mode to soft light, so it blends well into um, the color field down there. So this is what it looks like normally. Alright, so it doesn't have to, it must not necessarily be a door, it can be something else. All right, dependent on how creative you want to get about it. So backgrounds don't really have to be a certain type of way. All right, they don't really have to be a certain type of way, so they can take any form or any shape. All right, so next I did next layer would be the texture layer. All right, so this is part of the textures I have in my resource pack. All right, so I changed the blend mode to lighter color. All right, this is what it looks like normally, and with opacity of 100, this is what it looks like. All right, so that's why I said the biggest cheat in Photoshop, or that's what I always say, the biggest cheat in Photoshop is this blend mode and the opacity. Very big cheat. You don't really know when and how you'll be able to use it to maneuver, but it's there, man. It's there. All right, so let me undo that. So this is what my stuff looks like texture. So I needed something very hazy, and gave me that. All right, so then I have my picture. All right, so this is studio picture that's already been retouched. I also did my magic with camera raw filter. And if you don't know or you want to know how to retouch the way I do with camera raw, you can go to my YouTube page. You see a video I dedicated to designing and editing with camera raw filter. All right, so this is the camera raw filter. It's under filter, you see camera raw filter. All right, very nice stuff to edit pictures. All right, so then I have my curves adjustment layer added over this picture to give it a form of depth with the shadows. All right, if you look closely, you'd look at the pictures, see it's brighter here, then here is darker with more details. Right, so this is what my calibration is. I just took down the curve on the highlight a little bit. Right, I get that very nice skin tone. Right, so I also added a gradient map. All right, and this gradient map is a combination of colors that are added. So this is a shade of blue, right, close to navy blue. Then this is like a shade of lemon. All right, so that's basically the combo I'm using here. So you can use different combos depending on how you want to color grade your design. All right, so this is the combo I used. All right, then I have it in the reverse. All right, I clicked on reverse. This is what it is normally, but this is what it is on the reverse. So the reverse makes it better for me. All right, so I have my opacity at 54%, and I have my fill at 75%, and I have my blend mode to soft light. So all this now basically is just predicated on personal preference. Yeah, just predicated on personal preference. It's not like there's a particular sweet spot or anything. You have to determine what your own sweet spot is. That's what I tell my students. So the fact that I did it at this particular unit, or the fact that you watch YouTube tutorials and they use a particular unit of calibration, doesn't mean it might work in your own case. Do you understand? So most of the time, say while I was growing up, most of the time I would want to use the calibrations they use in these videos, and you find out that it doesn't even work in your own design, because either the texture is different, or the people in question are different, or the project is different, but something is just really different and off about it. So you have to determine what your own sweet spot is. Very, very important. So next I added was a gradient. All right, a gradient fill under here, because I would need to put my text and all of the rest I need to do on that stuff. So next I have is the branding itself. I did this branding um on Adobe Illustrator. Right, I branded this on Adobe Illustrator. It took me a while, but it was quite. I really loved working on this. It actually helped bring out my abstract creativity. All right, so in Illustrator I didn't put a color to this, so I had to put a color to this to give it a different feel. All right, so this is the color. So how did I do this? I took my shape. All right, so let me remove this. So I took my pen tool. All right, made sure it was the color I wanted. Then I went around this. I came click 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 click. Make sure I'm very, very meticulous about this. Click click. Oh, no, 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 undo that. Come here, click. Come here, click, because I have to cover the whole area of that place. Alright, so what I now do is I now come on that particular layer. Alright, I right click and I'll see create clipping marks. So what create clipping marks means is that it would take this and take this particular stuff here and put it over this, like embed it over this. So now see the magic. Come here, right click, create clipping marks. Alright, so it just stays on this particular layer in that particular space that it should occupy. Alright, so that's how I achieved that, and it looked quite nice. I liked it. Right, I think this was the first thing I actually did with the pictures before I actually started color grading these pictures. Right, because I now use this color and the color of the background to color grade his face. So next thing I started doing was to add fonts. So this is intro. Alright, so I added this other thing down here to the background. This is actually a saxophone. Alright, a fragment of the saxophone from this J. Alright, because he's actually a saxophonist. Right, so then this is the urban jazzscape. So this is this particular thing. What I did was I just brought it into, I placed it into this particular stuff. So I'll show you guys how I did that. Okay. Alright, so I took this. Alright, Ctrl J, that's to duplicate. I duplicated that. Alright, so I brought it up here. Right, this is the whole stuff. So this is meant to be here, so I removed the shadow. Alright, so what I did was I changed the color of this. I double clicked on this layer, change the color, alright, to the color of this particular stuff I have here. So come here, click, use my eyedropper to pick this color, alright, or the color of whatever I wanted to do. Alright, so okay, so I have that. So I would now have to now fit this into this whole stuff. So what do? I transform this, Ctrl T. Alright, so I now come and now put my stuff on this dot. Alright, this dot, that's what I'm using now. So I'll come here, I'll do this. Alright, so you see how it's actually distorting the arrangement of the text to make it look a certain type of way. Alright, so I have this. Alright, so I can have this here to give me what I want. Alright, although it's not exactly how I put it there, but it still suffice. So what I do, I just create clipping mask again, the way I did for the other stuff, to mask it over this particular thing under. Right, so I just come right click, then create clipping mask. Right, so there you have that. So I can still adjust, to get what I need and all of that. So very, 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 very jazzy stuff. All right, so next thing I did was to, or next layer on this thing is layers for the texts and all of that. All right, so just basically arrangement, alignment, and hierarchy. All right, arrangement, alignment, and hierarchy. The same thing. This is just a box. All right, I faded this part. All right, so just basically arrangement, 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 and arrangement, and arrangement, and arrangement. This should have an icon. I don't know where the icon is. I think this should be it. Yes. So yeah, then I added a texture overall on the design. All right, it's more like a scratch texture. So this is it here. So I used screen and my opacity is at 8. So this is what it is normally. All right, normal and opacity at 100%. This is what it is. All right, but you know, I said if you want to take out the blacks in anything, you have to use screen. The blend mode has to be screen. So first off, I came here, choose screen. With screen, you still have all of these confusing the details. All right, or making your design look very very tacky. So you just reduce the opacity till you get to that sweet spot, and that sweet spot for me was about 8. All right, 8% or 10%. So but I'm here doing 10. So very sweet spot, and I have this. All right, so that's basically all about this. So most of these designs are really not are really no brainers, but it's just your ability to arrange and compose in such a way that is neat and appealing to the eye. Do you understand? That's just typical stuff about it. So I think I used in total, I used like basically one, two, I think just two fonts for this particular design. Just two fonts for this particular design. As simple as ABC. As simple as ABC. Just arrangement, hierarchy. And hierarchy is not just in size. Hierarchy is also in weight. If you look at this now, they are these two the same font, but the weight of this and the weight of this are two different things. Is also hierarchy. Do you understand? So that's just probably it about this design review. Very very short and simple, clean design, and you know, I think I started adding some things to the top. This is okay. This is a noise effect I usually add. All right, so what do? I create a color fill. I come here, add a solid color. All right, whatever color. I mostly like using black or gray or ash. Okay, so I come to filter. Under filter, I come to noise. I come to add noise. So under add noise, either convert to smart object or rasterize layer. So most of the time I love using rasterize layer so that my CPU is not running unnecessarily. Then I just keep this a tad bit small. Make sure my distribution is Gaussian. Then okay. Alright, so then what I do is to just take up, not remove the blacks as I said, use any of this. So I can either use screen, color dodge, depending on what I want to achieve. So I think color dodge is fine. Then take down the opacity. Alright, take down the opacity to where I want. Alright, and before after. Alright, so this is the one initially with the design. So what do I have here? I have color dodge too, but 100%. Wow, that's crazy. So I have at the top a night of gratitude and timeless melodies. Very simple stuff. And the font is what intro. So most of the time is a no-brainer. Something. It's just your composition game just has to be good. Alright, so that's that about this. So thank you for your time and see you in the next one. Bye.